Hello and thank you for choosing IndySoft. Welcome to another Tip Tuesday. My name is Adam Waymer. I'm the COO here. And today's video is about upgrade prep. We've got a new release coming out, 13.1. You hopefully have seen a recent video on 13.1 sneak peek about some of the features that are going to be including in it. So I want to have a video to talk about how do you get ready for that? And just in general, because there won't just be a 13.1, someday there'll be a 14, 15, 16. And what are the basic steps involved in getting ready for that upgrade so that you are best prepared? So the first thing I'm going to do is just bring up our portal. If you're ever looking for a new version of the software, you're going to go here. Now, one thing I want to mention too is that there are two paths to getting on the latest version of the software. If you are one of our cloud customers, awesome, fantastic. It's the easiest way to upgrade in the world. You just email support@indysoft.com and we'll deal with all the work. We'll take care of it. Now, one thing that I want to stress though is we don't just immediately upgrade you. We take that request in and that goes to our cloud team, and then we'll schedule a downtime window to get that done for you. Usually we do that on Saturday evenings because that is the time that will least impact your production, because we know the most important thing is you getting your work done. So again, if you need any help with getting on the latest version of the software, just email support@indysoft.com and we will take care of it if we are, you're on our cloud. Next up, and the majority of what this video will be about is really on-premise. Now with on-premise, you're going to need to download the software. You're going to need to get ready for however many workstations you need to push that out to. And we're going to touch on those steps a little bit coming up in the rest of this video. But really with an upgrade, what I find to be one of the most important things is, what does that upgrade get me? What is included in it? Now, as I mentioned, we have a 13.1 video that just came out that highlights some of those features, but the moment that we release the software, we release our release notes. And you've probably seen some videos on that, but I want to reiterate that just to make sure everyone knows that's really one of the most important parts in upgrading. Figuring out what in that new release impacts you, whether it's a bug fix and you need it in there ASAP, or it's a feature that's going to make you more efficient at doing your job. So the best way to get there is go to the customer portal. Once you click that, you're going to be presented with the site that you'll log into. If you have any issues accessing the customer portal, this is going to be kind of a recurring theme. Email support@indysoft.com. That's what they are there to help with, and we'll get you a login and make sure that you can access your total products so that you can get to your release notes. So once you click on total products, you'll see everything that you have licensing for. Now I'm in here as a dummy account, so it's not going to be reflective of what you see exactly. But you will see things based on your purchasing. So if you're a web tier customer and you're accessing IndySoft through a browser that you yourself host, the web tier server is going to be available for you. If you are a calibrations.com customer, you're going to see IndySoft client here. And if you're commerciallab.com customer, you'll see IndySoft commercial lab. But I'm saying the most important thing was going to release notes. So how do we get there? Well, once you see your version of the software, click release notes. And this page goes back an incredibly long period of time. So if you haven't upgraded in a long time, then I highly suggest go to your current version, filter it, and what I'd start with is features. Because you'll note here, if I go back to version 12, which was just from a few years ago, I have pages and pages and pages and pages of features. And you can also search on it. So let's say, for example, you're someone who has questions about how have we updated pending work. Just type in pending work and it's going to search all of those results. So in this case, I have been on 13.18 and you'll see 13.1 available. I'd refresh that and look just for the new features. Every one of our release notes has a video on it about how it works, why we put it in there. So I would definitely say if something sticks out on this list as you read it, make sure to click that video and get more detail, because that's how you can start planning how you want to implement that when you upgrade the software. All right, so that's all I'm going to talk about on release notes. Just know it's available to you. This is where you find it, and make sure to look at what all's in there, because we add a ton of stuff, as I hopefully illustrated pretty clearly, just by going back to version 12 and highlighting this page with features only. Remember, bug fixes are in here too, so anything you've had an issue with, you may see in that list and something we've taken care of. All right, so you're ready to upgrade. You know what you want to take advantage of. Let's get prepped to install everything in our environment. So the way you access any of the downloads is this little blue download icon here. I went to the web tier server because a lot of our customers, that's their primary means of interacting with the software. Again, on cloud, we take care of it. But if you're on premise and have this, you will see 32 and 64-bit. I highly recommend grabbing the 64-bit version. It just has access to more memory. We had 32-bit for a long time. We still support it because we have some customers that, have a QuickBooks integration that requires it, but that's not something that's going to be around forever. 64-bit is what you should download and be interacting with. Uh, it's important to note that if you use web tier tools or print server, you're probably saying, well, where do I go download that? It's already included in the web tier installer. We put it in the installation directory because we expect that your users will download that when they log in the software, and they can just click download web tier tools or download print server. So when you go to that new version, make sure to remind your users that they will need to update their web tier tools to match the version you are using currently. From there, regular client, you can install this on any workstation. We also have MSI installers available on, whenever you need it, just let us know. This is one thing that's going to be changing in future versions of the software about how we do these. So if you have any questions about that at the time, again, that repeating theme of email support at IndySoft.com, and we will answer any questions you have. One of the big changes coming is that we are now going to have a streamlined version of the installer, so it takes up less space for most users, and we're going to have an additional item listed here called admin tools that gets you all the extra EXEs that your end users probably don't interact with too much, just so it takes up less space, easier, faster install. And that's another great thing coming in 13.1. Our installer is much, much faster. We're all very excited about it. You will see it soon. And then, of course, if you are a single user, have any field service users, you're going to find that listed here for their individual workstation downloads. Now, we do have some new field service features coming that make installing for single users so much better and so much easier. You'll see that in your release notes as well. If you don't currently have field service or have registered for that, you can always reach out to sales@indysoft.com. And if you forgot that at the end of this video, just email support with your questions about it, and we'll get you routed to the right person anyway. All right, so that's my section on just how to download the software. Prepping for your individual workstations always varies depending on your setup. We have so many customers and such a wide range of environments that's specific to you. So I'm going to imagine that you have 30 workstations that you need to install it on, and you have the web tier, just for this scenario. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is how do you get your database upgraded if a database upgrade is required. So I've downloaded my web tier server, and that's going to take care of a bunch of users. And I've got my commercial lab management exe downloaded that's going to go to the rest of those workstations. Once I get one thing installed, I'm going to run ISFDB. That is the tool that we use to get your database upgraded to the latest version. You'll note in here there's the SQL Server script. If this is not your first time installing it, don't download that. You don't need it. That's only there for that initial setup of a database. You're up and running for a while now, so that's not what you need. And our ISFDB tool is going to take care of that. So let's switch over and see what that looks like. So it's installed on my web tier server, or I installed it on my workstation in this scenario. All I need to do is one time go in here to my installation directory and find ISFDB. And if I could just pull it up here. Not ISUpdate, ISFDB. This is the tool that upgrades the database, as you saw there. Perfect. So this is going to double check that you are connected to the appropriate database. If you're one of our customers that has dev environments, beta environments, consolidated environments, double secret testing environments, make sure that you are upgrading the appropriate one. If you're someone who upgrades your test environment first, be very cautious that you are pointing to the right database. We always recommend saving your connection settings and having a list here so that you can very easily pull it up and switch between them as needed. Once you test connection, it says, hey, everything's great. It's going to pull up ISFDB and you'll log in. You do need to be a system admin to do this. Now you'll note I'm already at the latest version. But if I wasn't, I would click this arrow down to show the SQL executed if I was interested in it, but most customers are not, and just hit start, and it will take care of everything. It'll take it a little while to run depending on how much data and how large your database is. If you have a 4 or 5 gigabyte database, a couple minutes. Terabyte or larger, a little bit longer time frame. And it's just going to process all those things, but what it does at the very end is going to say, hey, was it successful, or was it successful with some errors? If you see any errors, make sure to save that file and send it to support@indysoft.com. We want to take a look at it. We want to make sure everything's fine. Sometimes in database upgrades, there might be an index issue and it stops something from happening, and we need to run just real quick SQL to fix that one thing. Or maybe your SQL user didn't have the right permissions to do what it needed to do, and it couldn't do anything at all. Our support can guide you in the right direction to fix it. Now, that would require your IT to get involved and get the SQL Server user properly set up and able to make those changes, but we've got instructions on how to do that as well. So no stress there. If something happens, reach out to support@indysoft.com. But otherwise, it should just run without any issue, and you'll be on the latest version. And you only run this one time. So in that scenario I was mentioning earlier where I have another 15 workstations, they don't run ISFDB. You don't need to run ISFDB again. The database is already the state that's supposed to be in. And in fact, if any workstation tries to log in that hasn't been updated to the latest release and the database has already been upgraded, it's going to let them know immediately that they need to upgrade their client. And they'll probably reach out to you and say, hey, get me the new version. So that's really it on ISFDB. It's easy. If you have an issue, email support, and that's what we're here to help with. From there, just start using the software. That's really it. That's all it entails. So a little long-winded to talk about how to prep for an upgrade, but it's really important that you think about that when the time comes about how you're going to take advantage of it. So just a quick refresher here. Get your release notes. Review what matters to you. We have a lot of customers who use the software in very different ways. So make sure you find features, bugs that matter to you so you're prepared for that when you upgrade. Number 2, download everything you need. Web tier if you're using web tier, client if you're using it, and the single users if that's something that you take advantage of. And if you have questions again on which ones to download, don't hesitate to reach out to support@indysoft.com. Then once you've got it downloaded, just go to ISFDB one time, get that to run, and then make sure every one of your workstations are set up. And of course, if you are our cloud, it's easier than the steps above. You just email us and we'll make sure you're taken care of. From there, that's really it. Thanks again for choosing IndySoft. We really appreciate your business. We appreciate you as a customer. And don't ever forget that we are just here to help, and reach out to us at support@indysoft.com. Thanks. Have a great day.